All right, Niños and Niñas, we're here today to go over the Columbian Exchange. We're going to take a second and learn all about that. All right, so the Columbian Exchange is exactly what it sounds like. You have two words, Columbian and exchange. And when you think of an exchange, you think of a trade. When you go to Walmart to exchange a shirt, that's a trade. That's a trade done by choice. The Columbian Exchange didn't always involve choice. The other word in our title is Columbian, and this translates into the fact that all of this because of Christopher Columbus. If Christopher Columbus hadn't found the New World, we wouldn't have the Columbian Exchange. The Columbian Exchange is broken down into 4 categories that got swapped back and forth. Number 1, people. Number 2, animals. Number 3, diseases. And number 4, food. Let's talk about that first one, people. So, initially, at the beginning, the people that came over were from Europe, coming to the New World and exploring, looking for gold, riches, all that fun stuff. Those people came over, and when they met the natives, and in some cases they took the natives back with them to Europe. Not all of them, but like a few key figures to take back to Europe and show off. Ooh, look what we found. Well, the second piece of our trade comes from the animals, because when those Europeans came over, they brought with them animals to survive. They brought horses for mobility and moving things. They brought pigs for food. They brought other animals to eat, livestock, oxes, cows, things like that. The fun fact about the pigs, when they showed up here, the pigs had such a wonderful natural habitat here that the first year when they brought pigs over, the Spanish brought pigs over, they brought 13. 3 years later, there were more than 700. Now that's a return of investment if I've ever heard one. That's like unlimited bacon, which is always a wonderful thing. All right, our next thing after animals is diseases. And this one is important because this arguably shaped the world today. Europeans had many diseases in Europe that they had, I won't say grown used to, but had developed some natural resistance to. Smallpox, typhus, measles, mumps, chickenpox, all of those were in Europe and had been there for centuries. People were getting more used to them. They weren't immune to them, they could still catch it, but it was harder to catch. Now, once they got to the New World, all of those nice, wonderful diseases that the Native Americans hadn't seen in 10,000 years, they didn't have an immunity to. So those diseases hit the Native American populations extremely hard. Okay? Estimates say, now these are estimates, anywhere between 50 to 90% of Native American populations were wiped out by diseases and the side effects of diseases. Starvation, things like that. If everybody's dying of the plague, nobody's running the farm. So, food's a problem. All right, the last thing that we're going to talk about is food. Food is a good thing to have. Otherwise, starvation. But the food generally went from the New World to the Old World. So, from the New World, you had things like potatoes, tomatoes, chilies, peppers, spices. Some of those things left the New World and went to the Old World. Fun story. The King Frederick of Prussia heard about the wonderfulness of potatoes, and he wanted his people to eat potatoes. But unfortunately, potatoes are butt ugly, and nobody wants to eat an ugly food. Just look at Walmart. The ugly fruit and food is still there. So what King Frederick did is he decided to tell people not to eat them. He said that these potatoes were not for commoners. He put guards around the farm, his royal farm, and told them, I need you to make sure that you guard this, but not too well. And people would sneak in at night and steal some potatoes and run back home, and they would plant them in their own garden. And they would grow, and they would start eating potatoes, and potatoes became a major food crop in Prussia due to this plan. Because as we all know, anytime you're told not to do something, you do it anyway. Another thing with food is that some of it did travel from Europe to the New World. You have things like a lot of grains, wheat, barley, hops, all of those things are brought over and grown here because the soil here is amazing for that kind of stuff. So you have a transfer of food back and forth. Now, let's talk overall impact. If you think about it, the world today would not be what it is without these trades, these exchanges back and forth. We would not know about the new people over here. They wouldn't know about life in Europe. But on the same side, it devastated a lot of groups. Native American populations were devastated by the diseases and by the warfare and conflict brought by Europeans. Europeans grew bigger and healthier thanks to the foods they took from the New World. So when you think of the Columbian Exchange, the big thing you've got to think about is who wins out and who loses in this exchange of goods. Until next time, I'll see you later. If you found this video helpful at all, if you found this video enlightening, engaging, or just flat out hilarious to watch a teacher pander to the lowest common denominator, please click like and subscribe. Thanks. All right, boys and girls. All right,